Well, hello there, everybody. Yeah, we were having a confab before we went live, and I can hear myself, so I know that we are live. But welcome, everybody. It's so good to see. Well, let me just say to sense your presence. Those of you who are in the chat room, we can actually technically see your words. And I guess, Trina, seeing a person's words is I guess essence kind of seeing them, right? Yeah.
I feel them when they
Yeah.
communicate with us. I'm like, I feel them. I definitely do. Yeah.
And there's so much love in this chat room. I mean, uh,
Yeah.
Chloe, grand rising to you, my dear. She always writes me a nice little thing before everybody. And Deborah, she is getting some rest. So Cody, boy, it's filling up fast in there. There's Hillard, Chris, Gaia, much love to you, and Paul, Emperor Rex. How are you? Rick, what's up? Mark Smith, all the way down from Brazil. Mary Wins, love you, darling.
Yes.
Soul Searching, that's Greg. How are you doing? Colleen, interesting exchange of emails today, dear. Jap, good to see you as well. Gilbert, good to see you. Mary, there we go. Stephen, I'm just trying to read this. Stephanie Marie. Lilith, how are you, sweetie? Good to see you. Always good. Truth Co-op, hello, Mucky Experience, John. And so, yeah. So this is Tuesday. Little confabulated here because there's so much energy going on. There's some weird stuff happening, but we're
The sun too, it's interacting with the Atlas thing, and we've got some like gamma waves that were hitting us yesterday. The Schumann's been off the charts, Wayne.
yeah, and that's
Off the
that's a
charts.
that's another weird one because the guy from Harvard who's really kind of pushing this thing, he's he seems to be holding to his story that he thinks that this is an alien probe. I don't know. I've
You know,
never
when I
seen
I,
one.
I kind of tuned into it, and it was I think I was on I think I was talking with you when I saw it. I saw three eye, and they showed me three eyes. One was for the past, one was for the present, one was for the future. And I saw them measuring potentials. That's what I saw. So I feel it does have some type of monitoring intelligence. Very much so. That was what I was picking up on. I thought, that's very interesting. And then
Yeah,
we got
I
Swan coming through, and we got five others apparently. So seven,
seven. Yeah.
seven coming. Hmm.
Nina says, nice shirt. Yeah, this is some of the merchandise you can pick up on. As you can see, it's stylish. It looks good on me. It looked good on you. And, be doing something here where we'll be giving away some of this fine stuff because winter's coming. And anyway, let me just
Mhm.
say we speak favor over us all. Favor works, folks. I've just got to tell you,
Mhm.
just it works. So that's how we like to go with it. And we say nothing missing, nothing broken, because that is peace. And always be kind to your mind.
Yes.
In this day and age, we're under assault. I mean, the negative waves, man, are like just so freaking intense. Trina, the title of today's show is Why Curses? And I don't know if you know what Megyn Kelly is now saying on her show. Well, in fact, she said this right after, it was right after the Charlie Kirk assassination. That's what it was. And she says that there's a outlet called Jezebel, and they got in a group with a group of witches. Now, I don't know if these witches were paid to do this or not, but apparently this group of witches came together and then brought in a demon, made connection with the demon, and then set a curse upon Charlie Kirk. And subsequently, now I have no way of verifying any of this. I'm not reporting this. Megyn Kelly is. Um, but the disturbing part of that is that it reinforces this negative narrative and connotation of those of us who are pagans, those of us who do not adhere to the Abrahamic religions. That thus makes us apparently an enemy. Um, for myself, I was taught the occult through Christianity, but I can say this, even I know this, that if you cast a curse upon an innocent being, um, man, oh man, I mean, that's just bad news all the way. That's a boomerang effect that I don't think any human, but apparently that's it. And it's sad because again, it sets this narrative and it immediately sets up this agitation, this hate. And you want to see God. God is a God of what? Revenge, wrath, and this is what happens. And so I just want to put it on the record. I don't know I don't know a practicing witch that would do this. And if someone
I
did
do.
do this, there is one she's coming forward now, and I don't know if she's looking for notoriety. I don't know if she's sincere, but she says she was a part of this coven, and that she regrets it now.
Yeah,
She said,
I know people who do dark work,
"Yeah,
and it's not, I mean, that is some cray cray stuff. But no, I do have a strong suspicion that it's so funny. I've been looking at this for the past couple of days. It's interesting you're bringing this up. So this is just a theory, string of thought that I've been
sure,
dabbling with. And I keep seeing, it's interesting throughout time, most of the women that were witches were always pursued, hunted, and gotten rid of. But people don't understand there's a whole other side of that. Many of them were recruited. So they were taken away and placed into places where you'd never see them again. And their work was some of the highest level darkness that exists on this planet.
mm,
So with that, I think at the top, that's why they got rid of all the witches. And they make sure we follow an outside powers outside of you doctrine across all religions is for the fact that if you tapped into what you really were, there would be no match between us and them. So this is why they've always had to get rid of the people that can see, the people that have brilliant ideas. Like, look at Tesla, all these people that, got shunned, told they were, not needed, they wouldn't let anything they would create available because they need to control and they control through magic.
yeah." To me, I don't understand that side of the equation. To what is the end game in a situation like that? And
Mind control.
again, it casts this negative um, picture, this image, this connotation of pagans around the world. And for the record, I can tell you the vast majority of the pagans that I know of, they only do the work that is to benefit of others. And again, I think it's sad because this has unleashed a wave in this country, and there is a religious war that is setting up. And I think particularly if you look at what's happening, events in the United States, we changed the message. I'm hearing myself in an echo. I think that's you, Jenny.
One second, I'm so sorry. No, I
I'm like, oh God,
I
is it
haven't got
me?
anything.
You
I
got
haven't
a
got anything
feedback now,
playing.
hun.
All right, sorry, I haven't got anything playing. 1 second.
Vast majority of the
Yeah,
I'm
that's
I
not
hearing
got mine.
me.
myself
Make sure
coming and
mine's
going.
off.
Right.
Mic test, mic test. Um, so finish out the thought. So we've taken I can still hear myself, Jenny.
I haven't got anything playing. I haven't got YouTube on.
Um, I don't know where the feedback's. I know it's not.
It doesn't, it's not there now, right?
Not there now,
No, no,
right?
it's still there. I can hear
Okay.
mic test. One, two, three. I think that stopped. Well, far out. But
All
anyway,
right.
to finish the thought, so we no longer have a Department of Defense. We have now a War Department. Apparently we have Jenny, yeah, I see that, hon. Come on in. I think you'll be fine. We'll tell that. So, as you know, Trump has gathered all the generals, all the admirals. He basically told them either you're going to follow my command or I'm firing you. That was what was told to them. So my point to all this, it's like the miniseries that was out in the 70s. If you've never seen this, really watch this because this is the script that is taking place as we speak. We are reliving the late 20s, early 30s of the 20th century, excuse me. And it's very clear war is coming. I heard myself. That sounded profound. War is coming. So it's and in my perspective, war is a curse.
I know.
No one wins at that. Are you muted? Are you muted? I can see your head shaking, Trina.
No,
Hello.
I
Oh,
don't think war, I think
hey,
war is
Jenny.
vital to their
Oh, it's
operation.
coming.
It's vital. Well, I just think it is literally, it is like you've got two different forces in a polarity universe. You've got the dark and the light. And I really do. I think it's literally was what the system that we are in appears, and this is theory, no proof. It appears it was hijacked through a technological advanced system that changed the way that we receive energy back and forth from us to source, the creation process that we're participating in. It was hijacked into a frequency cage that did stuff to the vision, shortened the lifespan, lots and lots and lots of things, because they literally were able to turn us into a battery. So one of the biggest ways to get a lot of power into a system is to get rid of the bodies. And so, because it'll plug right into the system as soul. So I see all this stuff and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And now that we're learning about the biofield and the connections that the technology is apparently having to our biofield. And now we have all these sensors that read our heartbeats, our pulse, all this. We're connected to another layer now. A new layer
Not all
is
of us are connected.
installed.
There's some of us
Oh
that
no, all, every human person with a heartbeat, I think now is literally connected to the system through your antenna, Wayne, which is your DNA.
well, you heard my lecture yesterday on that, and I think it's very important that we keep perspective that, and I'll call him Larry, the Altatira man, that was a human being, was out
Mhm.
on a nice day walk, out in southern Italy. Maybe they had native grapes. I don't know. But he falls into a hole that he can't get out of. And I'm thinking last night as I went to sleep about Larry, and I'm thinking, wow, what a way to die. Number one, it's a slow death. It was probably a very painful death. And I wonder if Larry was thinking about his soul. Was Larry thinking about death? What death was holding? Did he think about himself in all the esoteric terms we do today? No, I think Larry was probably thinking, oh, crap. You know, I can't get out of this thing. And look what happened to him. He became calcified to the very ground. And most humans don't do that. And so when I think about everything I see today, demons, angels, energy, no energy, maybe it's just as simple as Larry's reality. It's just us. There
Yeah, we
is
actually can.
no, this unseen realm and all of our, you know, theological, ideological, philosophical things about what it is to be human. Maybe it's just like Larry. You fall into a hole, ain't no God going to come and pull you out. No angel's going to come in and give you a hand. So I don't know, sweetie, and it's sad because the world it's becoming a very dangerous place. Conversations like this, where, as you were giving your theory, your hypothesis that you've seen, is considered to be dangerous because it doesn't follow the state narrative.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that, if this is a recycling program, I got a sense all of us at one time or another we're all on that stake together. We're looking at it and going, damn it, it's happening again.
Again, again,
I thought we fixed
Yep.
this problem.
That's what I
ridiculous.
that's what I was seeing. It's, there's so much about, showing us what to believe and showing us what we can
Yeah.
see and,
Yeah.
all these things there to put us in a specific frequency.
I was looking
So,
at money
the,
today. I had to do
yeah,
something where I was doing a financial thing and I swear I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the currency bills, in God we trust. And it hit
right,
me.
Wayne, think about this. Currency.
Yeah.
The,
Oh, I
the
know.
current I see, the
Yeah, I
frequency
get
I
it.
am living. Yes,
I
currency.
get it.
This is all
And
about voltage.
and the very thing that is all of us do, we do a transaction. We have to survive. We have to subsist. And unfortunately, the system we're in, it requires, you know, money.
Yeah.
And in our money, we curse her. In God we trust. And the woman that was there, she said, because I just shook my head and she said, is there anything wrong? And I said, no. I said, just, because I couldn't say this out loud. Otherwise, people would look at you and but in God we trust. And so who is this God?
That's the whole thing. Who is the God? I mean, who is the God? When I think about when I get to the highest levels of my own perception, and this is my own system of theory and trying to navigate truth.
Which we all have these things. We all
y-
hypothesize within our minds.
Yeah. So when I think
Trina, I
about it,
have debates with myself and I both win and lose.
I
absolutely,
do.
because
And I'm
yeah, you're
referee.
entertaining the duality of the mind. One is
Exactly.
thinks one way and one thinks the other way, and that's
Oh,
natural. But
and
I see that there is it's so hard to get connected back to yourself because the body is connecting you to the system. You were talking about the curse. It's like, what's the curse? It's like, they tell you from the beginning you were born into sin. It's a sine wave. It's a frequency cage, and it's going to zap your memory. You will not remember who you are. When I look at it in those terms, I'm like, wow, they were telling us all along. We just didn't get it because we couldn't comprehend the technology that we live in. And it's so advanced, and we aren't aware of it. We just aren't
I'm
aware.
like
We
the
have
rat.
no idea.
Forget the cheese. Just get me out of the
Right,
trap. You
right.
know,
I'm
I
like,
don't want
this
the
is a
cheese.
crazy maze.
So, Jenny, how are you, sweetie? Good to see you.
Right.
Hey, I've been busy. So I've been spray painting World War II symbols that were symbols of peace that have been used in World War II for turning into the inverted opposite. I've had to be spray painting over those in my hometown this week. Um,
Jenny, you
after,
activist, you.
well, you know me.
Yeah.
After after Elon's speech, did you see that?
I did not. I was taking care of Lynn.
Sorry to hear that. I have been busy out spray painting, as I say, but the So he addressed our nation to thousands of racist thugs in the street. And at the end of London streets, outside of parliamentary offices, a huge big screen that wouldn't look uncomfortable in a stadium was there. Police stood idly by, left them alone far more than the protests I've been on. And he addressed our nation. You need to watch it because he's been going around the world doing this, Asia, all of Japan, addressing people saying that you guys can't have a vote in 4 years. We mustn't let that happen because they've come for one of us. We must come for them. All of this Valhalla stuff alongside Jesus stuff, the irony is lost on the people in the crowd. And he called out our government on our streets, saying they were weak and these people must rise up against our government. So he addressed our nation like a Timu demigod of the world,
Where have I
projecting
heard
his
that
faith.
before?
Um, So, and he's using exactly the same words as like Hegseth is used today. So I've been staying very up to date 'cause, may have warned about this kind of thing coming around since the last time, that it's never gone away, this consciousness, and it's here. It's here.
Well,
And so
Hegseth,
they're
and I got to
trying to
thank
cause civil
Colleen for this.
unrest.
Yeah, and she said, and the quote, he said, we have to remember the past of those who have carried the honor before. And like Christian soldiers, we have to go to war.
Uh-huh.
And, we have, again, Trina, as you and I were talking when we started this, we now have the War Department.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimatum, they're doing a cleaning now of the top generals and the top admirals. Those who do not get on board, Trump has already got their exit papers. So
In
they're doing,
1934, they did that in
what's it
1934.
called? It was
There
at
was a
that the night
pact.
of the long knives? Is that,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
yeah?
it's
Thank you,
script for
Colleen.
script, step for step. They're moving through. I don't even have to use my intuition. They're moving through the script, word for word, even down to the word MAGA. It was make Germany great again. All of those things, script for script, they're putting those old trigger points, those conditioning points for these thuggish louts to be incited to violence. And when you think Elon's been hopping around the world doing these live feeds, they want civil war in many places all at once.
Oh,
And
we
and
have
that's
one here
what
already.
it's coming. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so.
And it's sad. I know, as I said yesterday, I
So sad.
refuse to participate in this. I won't be a
Hmm.
part of this curse because and it goes back to this whole thing with witches. We, as pagans, we've been here longer than any religion known to man.
Long as nature.
Pagans have been the caretakers of the land. Pagans have been the caretakers of the higher ones. They entrusted that to us. And ever since then, there have been competing religions and competing gods that want to vie for that power that we have been endued with. And over the thousands and thousands and thousands of years, they have whittled us down to where the general perception is that we only practice the dark arts, that we are somehow heathen, and that we are somehow in league with a devil. And pagans are none of that. The pagans are of earth. There is this energy, this life force, Trina, as you were saying, and we were at one time connected to that. I don't know if sapiens were, but I am sure that the Neanderthals, the Cro-Magnos, the Denisovans, I think they understood that thing, and we, sapiens, came along, and somehow or another we upended that. But getting back to the point, that's my concern now because I see it. I'm hearing it on the radio.
Yeah.
And when they start calling us out, that's that's a holy war.
Oh, it's on. It's on. I don't feel tired right now. I feel quite enthused. I've been out in nature, as I say, spray painting, but at the same time outside in nature. I feel enthused by this. It's on. I will not have another repeat of this cycle for my children to deal with in their older age. No. You know, that me and mine are going to be just fine. And we all need to be connected to nature more than ever. And again, like you say, not participating in the script at all, even
Yeah.
if some parts of it feel good to us inside, because we haven't done enough cleansing or inner work to get rid of those bits that feel good to some. There's one line that might be said might resonate with some people. Don't fall into that. Do self-reflection, use it as a self-cleansing, and you know, be at one with nature more than you ever before. To connect into those natural vibrations and frequencies and to stay grounded, quite honestly.
And if you have woods, you can do that.
Get in them. Get in them.
I'm down there, babe. I saw Mama Deer today and with her, well, the fawn is starting to grow up now, but yeah, it's
Oh,
lovely. And we
baby.
have, I've told you all this about our white skunk.
No, I didn't
Yeah,
hear a white skunk.
we have a white skunk.
That's amazing.
It is. I checked out
Mhm.
the meaning of that thing, and wow.
I'm gonna
What
look
is the
into
meaning?
To have a white skunk is that the spirit world is moving closer to you. They bring, because they're typically, as you know, black with just a white streak. Well, this
That's
one is white. And
wow.
so it's a very good omen. It means that the spirits are looking after us.
we're clearing away the darkness.
Yeah,
That's what
Mm-hmm.
I heard.
yeah.
That's
Nature's been
interesting. You know,
coming
when
to
you
you.
posted this morning, when you said why are we cursed? I
Yeah.
just started writing.
Excellent.
And this is just from purely my imagination. None of this is true. Do your own
It's
research. It
just
could
my
all be fantasy land.
imagination.
So I put, what a good question. Why does it seem we are cursed? Why were we born into sin? What if sin was the sign? And what if the battle of the gods created the cage? I wonder if they were the first ones to change their frequency, if they were the first ones to mess with the synthetic technologies. I wonder if that's how they came to be. And then I ask, what is light? Light is memory, it's code. What is you? Your blood, it's code. It holds the DNA. What is your bones? They're living crystalline bricks of code, information, and structure. What if the curse is the simulation? What if the engineers were the gods that created the original data servers? What if the technology was the whole reason for the suffering? And what if it was to simply capture our spark and utilize it to feed their system of synthetic? What if that is what's going on? I don't know, but it sure makes me think. The synthetic, was that what the sin is? Is that how we got the sine wave? As they built the megalithic structures and the pyramids and the churches, all that used to create sound and vibration, they still are utilizing these, but it seems like they've made everything much smaller. So now we don't need a big pyramid, we need a microchip. I see the system of the simulation potentially changing. This is why we have the separation and they need to start the wars. It seems like we've done this over and over again. When will we learn from our mistakes? What truly is a god versus organic creation? Is there a difference, or now is there none? I don't know. They promise avatars that will give you immortality as they've reduced our mortality through genetic tinkering. What if this is the separation, the bifurcation of the two worlds, the split? Wonder if it is about the synthetic versus the organic, which obviously doesn't seem like it's going to be able to keep up with the new technology. So that's a conundrum. But I wonder if when they offer you wings, are those wings simply going to be made of wires? When we have real wings in the etherical realms of energy. What if Enoch was the first transhumanized being? because Enoch was taken by God. Enoch never died, and Enoch was transformed into an angel of light, and his new name was Metatron. I wonder. I think of these things. So, is the Tron part of you, the synthetic part of you that the angel was copied out of? Copy and paste, nothing new under the sun, just rinse and repeat. As we are born time and time
Yeah.
again with a memory wipe, it would seem God would not allow this technology to stop with the mind control. So this is kind of where I was going with all of this. And it went on and on and on for a few pages. And then I got into what could be controlling us um, through like a synthetic and a biological link. And I was literally like, oh my gosh, it might be parasites, bacterias, all these different things. They control the gut, they control, more of the body. And then you have the biofield connection. There's so much we're learning about that we just weren't aware of. And I'm wondering, it's like, where is this all going and what is the remedy for it?
Well, I think you have to get back to the foundation when you make reference to God. What are you making reference to? You making reference to the Judeo-Abrahamic God? Because
Nope,
that's the general consensus. Well,
nope.
then that God would have nothing to do with Enoch because Enoch was directly tied to this God of the Abrahamic religions. And isn't
That's
it
what they
odd?
say, but is that even true?
Oh, I think it is. I think there's a lot of evidence. For instance,
Well, there's gods, but gods are just us.
yeah, but you see, if I tie anything to the Old Testament, I don't want it that God and we are on two different levels here. And isn't it interesting that when we look at wars, we think of a good guy, bad guy. But isn't it odd? Here's some physics. So blacklight. I got them on here. Yeah, you should buy one. Isn't it odd, something about black light that is better than white light because black light shows the germs, infestations that remain hidden in the light. Now, I find that interesting that because we're told that the black light, the black arts, the black magic is the bad magic, but what if in fact it's the antidote to counteract the white light, the white magic that's made with this white God? Because
But
the
that's
God of the
another thing
Bible
I
is not
wrote.
black, he's not brown, he's not purple, he's white. He's
That's what I
Caucasian.
wrote, Wayne. I was like, what if the light, the visible light that we exist in is the actual trap? Because
Well,
we only see like three, what, not even
That is the
1% or whatever.
spectrum.
Yeah.
That is
So I
the
was like,
spectrum.
yeah. And then I was like, and how do we get visible light with our 7 rays of color? It goes through a prism.
And a
A
rainbow, it's
prism.
a bridge, a rainbow, a spectrum. But then there are other species here experiencing multi-layers like shrimp. They have thousands of colors within their spectrum. So even in this same physical realm, there's different realities for the spectrum that they're on for sure.
Hmm. So
Like
Wade, I think
dogs
you're
see
onto
with the
something.
nose.
There's something about the way we perceive light. It's keeping us from like 90% of the reality of what we can see. But most of the people that can see past the veil, they're seeing all kinds of things that freak them out. So, they say, oh, God veils your eyes for protection. Well, that could be true. That could be
But
true too.
what came here though, to what Wayne says, what came here that wanted to convince so strongly about the white light that didn't show up the parasites. And because I use a UV light thing in my home, I've strapped a UV light to like the end of a mop so I can go around afterwards once I've cleaned because it disinfects naturally without me having to harm the environment. So that UV light, ta-da,
ah,
disinfects.
Mhm.
So like Wayne says, what did come in here then that wanted to convince so strongly that white light was the good light? It actually hurts our eyes. We don't see as well in it. We don't see as full of a spectrum, and we don't see the little beasties that can either aid us or kill us in our gut, like you were saying, Trina, the parasites. And I'm onto that with parasites, physical and spiritual.
mhm.
So I get what you're saying as well, both of you.
Yeah, it's just an interesting paradigm that I see us in today because this is what this channel does. We talk about the esoteric impact on physical reality.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Mhm.
not a lot of people can keep up with that. I love the groups that can. But we're in a situation now that it perplexes me because I was at one time over on that right side, right? Or so I thought. But the problem with the right, as it is with the left, you end up justifying the actions of your belief, regardless if it's right or wrong. That's
On
why
the other hand,
politics is the biggest cult that's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's tied to
politics is stronger
religion.
than religion. I mean,
Soul
it
Mhm.
searching, Wayne just stated, she was like, our sun used to be orange, and the white light that's currently over it is disinfecting our
I know that
thoughts.
to be true. I know I had a yellow sun much more when I was younger. I remember it
Too.
clearly. I loved it.
it
I
was a
loved
yellow
that
sun.
sun. It was yellow. I know it was. The hue was beautiful when we were playing outside in the
When this
garden,
sun
you
began
know.
to change, we were in Colorado.
Okay.
And I know Gilbert's listening, and I know Greg was out there. All of y'all in Colorado, you know what I'm talking. There were days that the sun actually was stinging, and we called
Yes.
it a stinging sun.
Prickling. Prickly sun. It was
Yeah,
prickling me.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Highly electromagnetic. You know, that was also during that time that I picked up that EVP. I don't know what the hell it picked up. Remember that one?
Yeah.
You know, with
That
the
one.
you don't, Jenny, you don't remember that one?
Say the AVP.
Oh, yeah, it's under go on my channel and you'll actually see it in the list, the playlist, and it's the one that has a Bigfoot on there. Yeah.
The Bigfoot one. I haven't seen that. I thought you meant a sound message because I've seen some of those that you've gotten, but not the Bigfoot.
This
Wow.
was an EVP of something going on. I mean, and I know exactly where I was in the backyard when we lived in Highlands Ranch, and
I'll
I
go and
had an
have a look
audio
at that.
engineer who broke down the sounds. Huh,
Mhm.
I don't know what was making that sound, but I can tell you this, I wouldn't want to be there to witness that. It did not sound inviting. I mean, it
Mhm.
wasn't like the sound that says, "Hello, Jenny, let's have some tea together."
Hey, how's you today?
And you're sitting down and all of a sudden you see this clawed hand come on your shoulder and you're going, "Oh, I guess we're
Uh-huh.
not having briskets or biscuits, are we?"
Back up. All right.
You've got to laugh, folks, because truly
I'll go and
someone
have a
said
look at that.
laughter reverses the curse. It's true.
It is the weapon against your oppressor, whether that's the oppressor being yourself sometimes, oppressor being in physical pain, or oppressors outside of you. It really is that, the levity force that helps all of those energy points move and
You know,
lift.
that's why when you go to a comedy club, I have a video of Kenneth Hagin back in the day, and to show how laughter is, number one, it's contagious, and
Mhm.
how you can actually change the thoughts of someone. I saw this thing happening. It was a weird phenomenon
It's
where,
so beautiful because the sound is light, so it's informing everyone
well,
around.
he was,
Yeah.
it's odd, he was under the anointing, quote unquote,
Uh-huh.
and it was like wherever he walked in this auditorium, all he had to do was put up his hand, and wherever he put up his hand, that whole section
Spiritual
just was
laughter.
swayed in the spirit, and they started laughing.
Yeah.
And he just started going around the whole auditorium doing that. It was a weird phenomenon. So, you know,
Commanding the
We had
rays.
that. I used to
yeah,
love doing that to people, but we had that in Sunderland very much so spiritual laughter.
yeah, yeah.
I'll put my hands up and they'll be in spiritual laughter
When
on
I
the
was
ground,
in the
literally on the
deliverance
ground.
and
Yeah.
the
They would
deliverance
fall.
ministry, that's what I used was laughter.
Hmm.
Because for some reason, them demons, they don't seem to like. Well, I'll just put it out this for the for inclusion, everything. I've never seen or read in the Bible where God laughed.
Right.
Miserable old bastard.
First clue.
Sorry.
I
He is a
mean,
miserable old man, though.
And Jenny, old man. Okay, you just said it's
I
us.
love you, Jenny.
Miserable old
Gods
man.
we're the
And I
image
love it
of
in that
God.
English accent. Say that again. It's really almost kind of sexy. Miserable
Miserable
old
old
man.
man. I can even say miserable old bastard because we don't know who his daddy is, so it's a dictionary correct.
Uh, I love it.
Misery loves misery.
But can we
Misery
discuss this? I
loves
mean, why
misery.
is it that it's only wrathful and judgmental? I never read where God laughed.
Right.
No.
Huh?
You
Mm-hmm.
see, because laughter humbles as well. So you can't really be an othering type of God or person if you're easy to laugh. I mean, genuinely easy to spiritually laugh from your gut. These people can't they can't maintain the oppressor stance. They can't maintain the othering stance, whether that be in politics, education, age, sex, male, female. They can't do that. Laughter actually breaks through that dam.
Because the laugh,
Frequency
it hits
wise,
the
they can't
solar
maintain
plexus,
it.
doesn't it?
Oh,
You
it
laugh
does.
from your gut, you know? You
Yeah,
know?
and you
Right.
feel it in all of
Yeah.
your cheeks, your butt
Yeah.
cheeks, your cheeks. You
Pucker up.
do.
Pucker up, baby. We're going
It
for a
Hate
does.
to
laugh.
say
Oh,
it.
it
That's when
do.
you really could do the happy dance. My God's better than your God, because the stuff coming out of
But
your
it's
gut,
true as
yeah,
I can
it's
feel my abs as they
fixing
tighten up when
everything.
I laugh. But it's from, you know, laughter,
Yeah.
folks. Nina says I use laughter to get rid of sleep paralysis. Way to
Yeah.
go. I like
The
that.
frequency, it's a shift of frequency. It breaks it apart. It's the only thing that works. It's one of the only things I've seen a lot of people have success with that is like if they can hum, even hum, it just a hum, anything like that, it seems to really help. Yeah.
I'll give it.
I'm reading some
But we
interesting
used to
comments.
send
So laughter is, someone said God is always laughing. I don't,
laughing
what?
at us, maybe.
I've
Is he
never
laughing
seen
at
that
us?
God.
Not
If
with
you know
us.
that
He's
God, tell
definitely
me.
not laughing with that, maybe.
But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows that this day is coming. That yeah,
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah,
When
but
is he coming,
I
though?
don't consider
You keep
that.
saying he's coming. It's like finance on the Never Never. He never pays
So
up. He never
what I
comes
interpret
home.
that is that God is laughing at another person's death.
And suffering and
That's what
misery.
it says, for the day is coming.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you see that when we talk
And he
about the
loves
wicked,
fear.
who's the one defining good and bad here? I'm just
Hmm.
asking. And by the way, the Lord is not God. There
No,
is a
Lord would
distinct
be a
difference
warrior.
between El and Lord. Now, the Lord of hosts, as Mike showed last Thursday, that literally translates the God of war.
Odin.
And isn't a host a
Thanks, Lucky.
parasite?
That's good stuff, buddy. What's that?
Isn't a host a parasite?
Host body, yeah.
I know it's more than one. But it's kind
Spiritual
of like,
host.
so who's hosting what? Because typically the host is like the person who's greeting you. They're hosting the party, and so the host is responsible for the entertainment, vivations, etc. But
Well,
yeah,
this God is not the hostess with the mostess. He's
Yeah.
lacking
it's
severely.
no Martha Stewart, that's for sure. I
No,
mean,
I'm not coming back for tea. No,
it's the
Mhm.
good things in life. So that's all I gotta say.
but you've got to wait for them. What?
Ah,
Right.
I
One of
love
his
I
this.
refuse.
Um,
incarnations.
No longer.
but these are the things we're into because Jenny, as you painting. Now were these World War II protest signs?
Yeah, no, it's worse than that. I mean, that was bad enough. And Elon addressing our nation and monopolizing billionaire with all the algorithm. Talk about algorithm, God. with his Timu demigod self sitting there as if
Hello,
he's already
Gork.
been crowned. Yeah, these are the Nazi symbols of World War II that they stole from the temple. So initially, I don't want to say it on YouTube, they initially meant peace and hope and life and cycle. And in World War II, do you remember they inverted that for the infamous symbol to become synonymous with suffering, war? Do you know what I mean? That symbol that they used. So it began with an S. I'll do Pictionary somehow, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
The
them.
swastika.
Yeah, so I didn't know if YouTube, because it's changing its rules very, very
No,
fast regarding
swastika,
what
I
you can
mean,
say.
A, it's a
It's a
geometric
beautiful symbol.
shape. It's a broken
Yeah.
cross, some have said. Others
Mhm.
say that the symbol itself was used in occultic pagan
It's one
ceremonies
of the
that
most transferable symbols, Wayne, around the world for the most ancient temples. And I mean of all cultures. So it's like you say, it's a geometric symbol that gives a frequency of hope, life cycle,
the
growth.
Anunnaka
Yeah,
Nina
Ananaka.
can't yes,
Do
it's
do
that.
do do.
It's that.
Ananaka. Do 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 do.
It's right
Ananaka.
over there
Do
in my
do
closet. I
do do.
can see it, you know.
But yeah,
But
those are popping up all over my hometown, and it's young ones doing it after the speech that Elon gave, literally
so
popping up.
did it have an effect on people? And what did your government, because your government, what I'm
Our
seeing happening
government
in
is
your government,
complicit in it.
did
Our
they
government is about it, complicit in it. So for the any pro-Palestinian march, the police were quite brutal. Experienced, seen it, know people who went through it. They actually tried to label them a terrorism group. They won the court of law to say that no, the government couldn't do that. That was just weeks ago. This racist, thuggish lout were able to be presented by somebody who'd just gotten out of prison. But of course, they're bought and paid for, Wayne. They've never faced a monopoly of power behind them that literally they've become so reliant on through the algorithm, the code, the satellites. They're held to ransom. They're
hmm.
pretending that they're not, but they're held to ransom by the
You know, the
same
British
people.
people have learned, you know, do y'all, you're not old enough, Jenny. I don't think, no, I know you're not. So, back in 1968 and 69, there was a group of hippies that had a boat that were right outside British internet waters, and they were in the international, and they brought rock and roll to Britain,
My
and they
uncle
were
worked
called
with them.
pirate radio.
Yeah,
And the British government couldn't defeat them. And so what they did is that they invented laws that made what they did that was once legal, illegal.
illegal and needing license on land in a
See?
registered
Yeah,
building.
yeah. So
So frightened of the message that was free that they were. They did all of that because they were so. I know my uncle worked with them because he worked with the BBC later on. But yeah, it was so we're clamped up. These government officials that are multi-millionaires that seem to have the titles have nothing now. They're held to ransom by the same class, the same consciousness that caused World War II. Yet this time they've got algorithm and code and
so can
satellites.
we address one of the core basics here about war? And this is why I know that the gods of this realm are messed up, everything, and maybe it's just me. You come into my world, it's an amusement park. But anyway, so everything about war is really about money.
Mhm.
We know certain bloodlines, they profit. They actually feed both sides because
We
no
did.
matter who wins or loses, they still win.
Yeah.
And
We didn't go
today,
to save anybody in World War II. We went because our profit was getting squeezed and we wanted the profits
so it
from the
gets
other
right
sides.
back to the basic foundation that this is about a god or goddess, I don't know, of
God.
about control through money.
What if it's
Mhm.
bigger than the money?
Well, it's so let's examine beyond that. So why do people sell their soul, their perceived soul, who will sell, for instance, that I've experienced in my lifetime, that will literally stab you in the back at the same time hugging you and telling you that, this is a covenant and what have you. But it's all about money. And with money becomes what, well, think about it. Money buys you favor of the gods. Why? Because you can afford things, you can afford frivolous things. You're above the other people because if you see someone's homeless on the street, well, that's beneath them. And then you have those, and I've seen it in the political realm, I've seen it in the organized religious realm, and it's the same God. It's the same mindset. What I'm trying to say to you, that's what I'm opposed to. I don't know who and what that is. I've come close to it. I thought, when I was in Christianity as an ordained minister, that I was preaching the gospel. I was setting people free. But what I was really doing was extracting a fee. You had to pay the tithe in order for the man to preach the word.
Yeah.
And now I'm standing outside the gate. They're not letting me back in. And so what I have to do is find friends and likes, and here we're holding hands as I see it right now. And we're trying to shout through the gate, but they're not listening. And
Yeah.
every once in a while, we see one come out of that crowd and they come over to our side. It's
It's
welcome to
deep.
my world.
It's very, very deep. It's very deep, and it's very. It's a weird exchange.
Because we got the
And it's
demigods, they got all the money now. And now they got the freaking power.
and
What
yeah, the
if
algorithm and the
what if
code.
What's that,
what if
sweetie?
they what if they're the technology behind the harvesting of the energy? Because currency, the money is what we see, but there is no money. It's the essence. It's the energy. It's the thought. It's the memory. It's the data they want. It's not money.
Yeah.
Well, they're making money off the data.
Well, they apply the money to the things
I
that
mean,
we
they
need,
seem
don't
that,
they?
I mean, you know
They,
why silver's going up, don't you?
You know what? You guys are talking about this, and all I can keep seeing right now is the movie Jupiter Ascending.
That's a
They're
good
like,
movie.
it's
Yeah,
exactly what this
it's a good
is.
movie.
Dude,
right,
and
Yeah.
Trina.
they're saying it's the
Yeah.
reset. What if that's the harvest? I mean, I'm like, what is going on here? No, but this is literally, they're like, Jupiter Ascending. Who runs the whole thing there? Who's the family? Abraxas.
It's the bloodlines.
Uh,
Hmm.
yes. And
Yeah.
they're like, when will you guys just, it's so
And
simple.
they're
If you just,
reptilian. And that's what
yes,
I've seen when I
yes, yes,
was,
yes, yes.
yeah, and
So
when I did the
this,
Bloodline Invader series that really kicked
Yeah.
this channel off. I mean, that was some fucking good work, folks. If you've not seen it, go back and watch it. But they're
yes,
reptilian. And I have a
I
feeling
can
they're
get
not of
into
this
it.
of Earth. I think they came I think it's close by, I'll put it that way.
I do. A hop, skip, and a jump between a portal and a few
Exactly.
dimensions.
You know, you can open the portal and go anywhere you want. But no, I
Yeah.
really think that this is really true. Let me ask y'all, while I got you, because yesterday, by the way, which is one of the more profound lectures that I have given, but I want to talk to you two about this idea of a quickening spirit and a living
mhm,
soul, and that by if you take this literally, because I think Paul was really into some deep stuff, that would then necessarily dictate that not all humans have the same spirit, not all humans have the same souls. What say y'all
yeah.
on that?
I agree completely. I think that there's evidence for that because the people that don't have empathy, no compassion, I can't see
Yeah.
that as truly being organic Homo sapien type material because they're connected to nature, they feel each other. These things don't appear to have any of that. So with that, there's none of it. they pretend, but their essence, there's none.
Do you
But they'll
think the
pretend.
Neanderthals and the Cro-Magnos, the other genesis of man, that they had a soul?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do.
See, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So then who would have
Yeah.
been the manufacturer, the creator of that? That's,
That's what I'm telling you. It's not a God.
I
can't
don't,
be.
it's just creation
No,
itself.
it's a
It's
field. It's a field of
it's an
every,
energetic, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it is so
Yeah,
much
it's the
bigger than a God.
all the old ancient esoteric stories. If you think, Wayne, of even the Norse story where the cow licks the ice away to release the life and whatnot, that's talking about heat, minerals, molecules moving, creating, binding, detracting, subtracting, and life coming from there. Which is why all the other esoteric stories say the mothers from the sea. Everything came from the sea, and there's still fish that
Primordial
can create
waters.
from their own selves. Yeah. And
Yeah,
we
the
have salty
primordial.
waters within. So I think it's more than that. And then the energetic field is a living field itself, ever morphing, ever moving. When
Yes.
we change the light and the frequency in a place, it changes life. But I do think, along with those stories and the movies, like Trina says, you get these walk-in storylines, or you get the skin wearers, the people who inhabit or possess the body. I think there's a lot to say to that some of those spirits that I recognize that are anchored in so far away from this nature that uh, like Trina says, they don't assimilate at all, really, as far as uh, society or body working together for the good of one another. When I look in some people, it's not just that it's not there. It's not just that it's buried, sorry, it's like it's not there. And so I
Yeah.
do think it's a spectrum of spirits that inhabit a species of body that can carry that size spirit. The same with animals.
Then I'd have to ask myself on that one is that we don't know what this spirit realm really is. Because if spirits can
Oh,
exist here where they want to inhabit a body of that, that tells me that there would appear that there is a finite um, realm. And that finite realm holds these energies that we call spirits, of which we're all heading there. Each and every one of us will occupy a space in there. And then I'm wondering, well, so does that mean that the ethereal realm is not this unlimited expansion, that it's a defined space?
Only based on the boundaries of your own
And are those
consciousness.
human spirits wanting back in? We call them demons, we call them angels, but as my conundrum yesterday's show, how can you have only male angels that have penises that are able to ejaculate semen, and somehow that this semen has the DNA and the RNA nucleoids that can bond to a human, Homo sapien human's DNA?
yeah.
That's
I think,
science.
yeah. And
That's
the
all I'm
magic of
asking. It's science. And you're going to tell me that somehow you've got this God that's, of this Bible that's responsible for all this. And what? He was asleep at the wheel that allowed it to happen. And he allowed the direct contamination of a whole species and then blames us.
Mhm.
That's where I get my thinking because and every time I hear people mention the word God, well, I want to know who you're talking about, and particularly if you're calling him he. Where's
And
Mama?
I don't, other than to take to take it out on him. But it's I get what you're saying. I've
It's
never felt that
look at the
way. It's
mess we're
always felt
in.
foreign.
We're about to go into World War III, and if it's a case, it's its fault. We weren't warriors. It says right there in the book they taught us war.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Look how hard they're
Yep.
having to work, Wayne, to create war within
Am
us.
I the only
Yes,
one
I
that
talk
sees this?
about. No, you're not. Yes, I talk about these thuggish louts on the street, but when you compare them to the numbers of people that have been marching in peace, so much so they could take their children because people were stopping to picnic on the way and sing and dance, and everybody had a different color hair or top on. There was variety. They seem loud, but these people are having to work so hard. They've had to own the algorithm to come back to this space again in history 2.0 because generally, you're right, we were taught war. It's not inherent in us, in a lot of us. We have to be pummeled with conditioning and control and division in order for war to be even semi-acceptable. You're right. This is a human layer of the issue. And
Yeah.
maybe it's a created layer by the very parasites that have gotten in here, hop, skip, and a jump through a portal and a few dimensions that, like parasites in the body, they mask themselves and project themselves and tell the immune system it's its fault. And it's insane. It has to work harder in this direction rather
And
than looking at the parasite
what
within.
is
That's how
it?
parasites work.
What is it?
Huh?
IT, internal
Yeah.
technology. We've been loaded with IT. That's why we always it is, it just is, it is, it's yeah,
Mhm.
it is internal technology, probably from ISIS, because it is an it internal
Also stands for
technology.
intellectual.
Yeah, and intelligent synthetic. So this is the overlays. We have these more etherical systems that are dropping down in vibration and converting into matter. So
Mhm.
your
So we
original to me is etherical and it's not seen. It's not invisible light. It doesn't it's connected through the body to these systems. But when the body drops, that's why we say we go up to heaven or raise in vibration or go to a higher place where we're light bodies, which is what is light? Bioluminescent beings. So
Still doesn't address the issue of the contamination of the bloodlines. And if humans, and if this was recently in our past, where
contamination
another,
of the bloodline would be sin, and it would be
no,
reproduction, replication through an image or a mirror. It's not real, it's not authentic, it's a copy paste, nothing new under the sun.
well, again, I'm looking at this as a literal incursion into our bloodline, into our DNA, because all the evidence shows that it was probably never what we were been told of so-called fallen angels. What this is really a story about is that they came back and they altered us and they
probably the
messed up.
frequency.
They messed up
Yeah.
big time. Through some mistakes, we had these gargantuans. They worked to redo that. Didn't work out. The point is, we're in this repeated cycle of war.
Mhm.
We love war. Some of the best movies made were war movies. It's war, you know why we love war? It's because then we can honor people. It's of the highest bravery. And what we do is that we decorate humans and for their bravery and their sacrifice.
Put it on a mantle. Yeah.
Yeah, and we fail to understand that last part, that sacrifice. This is some kind of entity. I don't know what it is, but
I
if
see.
if it's data, then the data is in the blood.
But then,
And the
yeah, because you're
shedding
right.
of
DNA.
the blood is
It's in
how
the
you
Yeah.
get the
DNA.
data.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
in
why
the
they always
DNA.
want you to drink the damn blood,
That's right.
symbolically and physically. They always want you to contaminate your blood, metaphorically, physically, esoterically, all of the E's with blood regularly. Always through the diet,
That
through
is the
the
true data
ritual.
center.
They've got to keep going with it. Drink the blood, drink the blood. And then they demonize the pagans, saying we drink a lot of blood. No, actually, mostly vegetarian because there wasn't much meat around at that time, and veg was much bigger and more nutritious.
See, I like
So,
the gray
bullshit.
idea that I could have this skeleton, right, with this overcoat, what we would call skin, but I really don't need a digestive system. I really don't need an air system because my skin works as that. So I can take all the nutrients in by my air that's around
No,
me.
But that seems like you're describing what they say that we were like in Lemuria. We weren't fully manifested in flesh yet. We had light bodies, more etherical, lighter bodies, but we had a form. But then they said that there was
More
they
like
didn't need to consume.
fluid.
They consumed light. Yeah, they were literally fed
I'll
off the
share a little
light.
story with you, Trina. You'll like this. I was up at a church um, that we were really active. Anyway, I was slain in the spirit, right? And it's a weird feeling to be slayed in this Holy Spirit. But
Yeah.
when I was out, I was at a place, the buildings were all, they're crystalline.
Yeah.
And I was walking with others, and I was in a light body. And there was
Yeah.
this river that was going through the center of this promenade. And it had these trees, and these trees were changing. And when they would change, they would have a different change of fruit. And it was very only like a couple of minutes, but I was there, and it was really weird. So everyone there was in a light body. They were bipedal,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the fact was that you couldn't, it was solid, but yet there was an illuminescence to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we could,
yeah,
material would go
yeah,
right through it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Vibration. I mean, that's, I think, the essence of what we really are. But when we take on the flesh, we create material bodies through these frequency changes. And the lower the frequency is, the slower things move. And we know here, time here compared to other dimensions are super different. And that's because of the rate of vibration we're existing in. So this is low and slow, you know?
I think this is why we're a group. I think that we've all met before in a
I do too.
non-physical form, and we left a little identifier, and it draws us into these groups, and these, I don't believe it's just by circumstance.
I don't
Like
either.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, well, tell the raccoon behind us, Heckle and Jekyll, they keep eating the bread, you know?
Yeah, hide them up.
And literally, we have two raccoons here. We nickname them Heckle and Jekyll. It's a little brother and
Oh,
sister,
that's
you
adorable.
know?
Yes. Mm.
And raccoons are the cutest thing. They got the cutest face, but
Mhm.
man, anyway. Well, ladies, thank y'all. This is, and
Being
by the way, I just want to say this as well, is that if you're listening to this, deeply appreciative. Thank you. But I also believe that no matter what happens, even if we're separated, that we're still connected.
yeah,
Wayne, I think this is why they use the pyramid. Because when you look at the pyramid and you see the foundation is the largest part, right? So if you were to imagine that we were all souls on this foundational of material realms, and then we know that we exist in higher dimensions through the chakra system and the overlays of the energy bodies that we exist in, the etherical, mental body, causal body, etherical body. Those are different layers of your body, but you can't see them. But when you go up when you go through the dimensions and you see the points of light, they all converge at the top. It confirms again that at the top we're one. It's like all the geometry can go back into the concept if you can see it a certain way. It's all going back to one at the highest. So that means that you're a part of that which contains all the knowledge and information, but down at the lower level, you're just having access to a little small part of that information and a little small part of that light, and it's being like magnetically held into a set frequency based reality. And that's kind of what I'm seeing going on. So it, the more higher we get in our consciousness, the more unified we become in our thought. And I've seen that, and that's kind of amazing.
And then I think the opposite is happening to a large amount of people. I see them just going further and further down. It's like, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah. I see that.
Anyway,
I do see that too.
it is
yeah.
a mass psychosis as well. We've got to say the rituals that have been going on for the last week to 2 weeks have been mass psychosis inducing deliberately, and for many factors. The numbers that we used, the words and the frequency behind those words that we used, the dates, that the times that they were used, all of it has been very, very adjacent to very high energies astrologically, very high energies from nature, i.e. in the Schumann. These have been rituals that have been deliberately and scientifically researched to induce mass psychosis. So if you're still here, if you've still had fun and a laugh in these last 2 weeks, then you're doing really well in these energies. You're doing really well to stay grounded, to not be part of it, to not be lulled into a frequency that no longer belongs to you. So I want to say that to everybody who is finding a way to smile, to love themselves, to love others right now, is you're doing really well, better than you could even give yourself credit for, because the concentration of energies, from astrological to wizards that know how to use them, to grifters that know how to deliver them, you're being pummeled right now. And if you've managed to fend that off at all, energetically, physically, emotionally, you're doing brilliantly. You really
As
are.
the immortal Jimmy Durante said, just make one person happy. If you can make
Yes.
one person happy today, then you've had a good day. All right,
Yes.
ladies, gotta go. I have a
Love
little
you.
wife in there I need to check in on,
Yeah,
so everyone,
hug her for us all. She'll get a big one.
yeah, all right, she'll appreciate that.
Standing in
Yeah,
agreement for
yeah.
full restoration. With
I'm
you.
right there
Absolutely.
with you on that. But I
Absolutely.
think I also like spoiling her, so yes, that's part
That's
of
what
the
I was
deal.
like.
Yeah, but she
Wayne
can
is
have a day or two of spoiling after the fact.
Yeah,
That's for
right.
recovery.
yeah.
But we
It's like,
still
no,
want
wait,
healing
let's
Well,
go.
now.
she says I make an excellent nurse,
That's right.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
thank you,
bet you
dear.
do.
I'm not a nurse Ratchet, but I am
All
just
Right.
that seasoning. She'll be getting all that
What
food with
movie
all the
was
right
that with
seasoning.
Paul Newman and Kathy Bates? Where he was in the wreck.
Misery?
Misery, yes,
Oh,
yes. Yeah, there you go. How's
no,
that
no, no,
for?
no, no.
That was a good movie, by the way. That was a good
I don't
psychological.
know how I could tell you that because I've never watched it. I was like, no
Really?
way.
Oh, yeah, the one scene where she puts his legs into that,
I think
wooden
that was the
box.
one thing that I saw, and I was like,
Oh,
absolutely not. I
oh,
will not watch.
no, no, no. And then I always think of the other one, The World According to Garp, the one that had oh, I, who was the comedian that come
I
on, help
can't
me
think
on.
of it.
Oh,
You're having a
he committed
Gemini moment.
suicide. He was in Jumanji and
Oh, Robin
Robin Williams.
Williams.
There
Thank
you go.
you. Thank
There you
you.
go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got one. I
Yeah.
can
You
never
did that.
guess
Thank you,
mine.
dear.
Hey,
Yeah.
Teddy. I'm like, oh,
It was
finally.
That was a
Yeah,
weird movie too. I have to
hey.
say, did you ever see that one? The
Yeah,
World According to Garp?
No, I
strange.
didn't see that one, but I saw all of his others.
Yeah, that one was a real
Liked it.
strange one for sure.
He did a lot of really deep stuff. The one
He
he
did
did
do
with
some good work.
what
What
dreams,
dreams may come true.
that was
That was
so
a dark one. That one
mind-blowing to
was
me.
yeah. Yeah.
You
Good
Wow.
guys,
movie.
you guys have got a theme going on here. There's things with foxes, there's wet dreams. I was thinking of when he was a doctor and all of the children were being saved. Like, you
Oh,
guys are on a
yeah.
frequency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
That was
I was in Sacramento back in the day, and I think I was in 95 and was there with family and what have you, and it was this graduation at Montessori. So guess who I was sitting next to? Tom Hanks and his wife and their new baby.
oh,
Yeah,
wow.
We do.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
That was
right.
one thing about Robin Williams. He would do some of the most happiest,
Oh,
funnest stuff, and then he would do some of the deepest, like
Mhm.
mind-blowing stuff. I was like, it just showed the depth of his, where he
which
could
one
go with
was
it.
it that where he worked at developing the film? He
The
Oh,
was
nanny.
yeah, he was where he wasn't he a serial killer or something that played in that? Or
I don't know.
yeah, it's the
No.
one where he someone in the chat will remember.
I don't know if I saw that one. Wow, I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
it
I don't
was
think I know
Dead
about
Poets
that one.
Society was an excellent movie. Yes,
Yeah,
Fina.
Oh,
that
yeah,
That
was.
good
was a good
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget
I
the
was
one that
again,
though
I was
where
thinking of the nanny one, where he's the dad and then the
oh,
nanny.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mrs.
Mrs.
Doubtfire.
Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that
thinking
that
of the
was an excellent
boobies.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved him in
Uh,
what was it too, where he was Captain Hook or something and Peter
oh,
Oh,
Pan?
that was Peter Pan.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
That
did
was,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
good in that. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so much that guy has done that is like can make you just utterly go deep or make you just laugh and giggle. What a powerful force.
Earliest childhood memories I have is one of them is that when Peter Pan, it was a special, I think, on NBC. And I still remember that I think I was 5 or 4, something like that. I forget the photo booth or something is, and Bicentennial Man, that was another good one,
Oh
Esther.
yeah.
That was really a good, that was a
Wow.
deep one. That
I
one,
forgot about
yeah,
that
Before
one.
its
yeah,
time a bit, that one, wasn't it? I
yeah.
think a lot of his movies were like predictive,
Yeah, Mork and
weren't they?
Mindy, exactly. I love that one,
Me
I love
too.
that.
Me
With the
too.
braces.
Yeah.
He comes in on an egg.
Nanu, Nanu,
Remember
who's that?
that?
That
Remember
Rex,
that?
Yeah.
Nanny,
He landed
nanny.
on Earth in an egg.
Yeah,
Remember that?
exactly. The big egg. I mean, you had,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's so weird.
And then when they brought in Jonathan Winters, that was a strange one, but yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah. See that.
Nanu,
Everybody, we love
nanu.
you. At least here you have some fun. We leave you, we may talk deep, but we'll always try to end it on a high note,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because we
And
love y'all.
remembering to do your own research investigation. These are
Yeah, form
just
your own conclusions.
ideas. And we've got so many ideas running through our heads because there's so much going on in our world right now. So
Yeah.
enjoy the ride.
And in fact, I said yesterday that you won't age as long as you remain flexible in your thinking. That's what free thinkers do. And
Yeah.
philosophers, we have to have a new age of philosophers because philosophers typically never change their mind once they have a philosophy. And
Oh,
here
really?
we have what we call a free-form philosophy. We
Yeah,
can
I
admit
didn't
we're
know that,
wrong.
Wayne.
Yeah?
I
Huh?
didn't know that
Yeah.
philosophers kind of never change.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think to be able to dive really deeply into something and then completely look at it from a different perspective and let that go the way it wants to in your consciousness, I think those are some of the greatest power tool building skills you will ever obtain. So
The
I'm glad
conscious
that
observer.
we can
That's the
move
conscious
through.
observer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're moving through these topics. We don't get stuck. We're like, oh, on to the
No.
next.
I
What
get
else can we look
emails
at?
from people who drop in our convos and just they talk about the open-mindedness of this group. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we're
that's
just
why.
like a river. A river doesn't flow
Yeah,
straight.
yeah,
River kind
and
of
life
makes it,
life flows, and we got to
yeah.
kind of flow
It's
with
that
it, you know?
serpentine thing. Isn't that DNA,
Yeah,
that double,
yeah,
triple helix or something like that?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
I found my third
yes.
strand. Yeah. It was playing hide
Mhm.
and seek.
Um, see,
All right,
I
ladies, I
think
love y'all.
Love
yes.
you
See you
too.
next
Love you too.
Tuesday.
Love
Um,
everybody.
and
You're
everyone,
doing
thank you
great.
again. How's that?
I'm saying you're doing great.
Everybody is. I love that.
Mhm.
So many good people out there. All right, everybody. See you hopefully tomorrow. Ladies, we'll see you next Tuesday for sure. Much love. And thank you all. Just be good to yourself. And again, make someone laugh. If anything, make yourself laugh. That's what I say.